Hi everyone, it's me Jo, and today I'm going back to botonics. Now if you're new to my channel, I've actually been doing a kind of investigative series, I guess you would say, on minor kind of non-invasive but slightly technical aesthetic changes. We'll go with that. So on my channel so far, I've actually been able to show you guys how I've had my nose fixed, how I've had my eyelid fixed, and I've been on this kind of I guess you would say this mission to bring back symmetry in my face. Now, I had a broken nose when I was younger, so it threw off the balance of my face, and I used makeup a lot to feel confident about that. So I was going to get a nose job, I was going to get all this surgery done to my face, and all my friends were freaking out because they thought I'd come out looking like Donatella Versace. Well, I found out about these treatments you could actually have that were non-permanent, that didn't actually have any major changes to your face, but they were more of a kind of like injectable implant system. So I contacted Botonics. I went to see Naruschka, who is an aesthetic genius. She understands faces so fantastically. I actually got to go there and I spoke about the problems I had in my face, and she actually fixed everything that I was concerned with. You can check out those videos on my channel. We went back and filmed some of them, so if you guys have any questions. And I know a lot of you have watched these videos and actually gone and inquired about the procedures I've had, because we were talking about it when I was actually at the Botonics clinic. So thank you guys, everyone that's enjoying this. But today I'm actually going to be talking to you about a lip treatment. Now, you guys have been writing blogs on Reddit, you've been writing in the comments, have I had my lips done? Now the answer is absolutely not. I've never had anything done to my lips ever. That's the way I look. They're just my family characteristics, that's my lips, they're natural, they're very real. However, I have had the most kind of like obsessive flip issue with my videos. Now you guys have actually written in my big surgery blog about this, that this isn't a thing that I suffer with, this is a thing we all suffer with, where we see ourselves in the mirror and we see ourselves one way, and then we flip it and we see ourselves as a completely different person. It's almost like you can't recognise the character traits in your own face. So what I've actually gone and done is I've studied what was like not symmetrical about one side to the other, because as you see me, you actually see a reflection of me. When I would go out and I would perfect what I wanted to look like, and then I would go and meet you guys and you wanted to take a picture, I wouldn't feel confident with the pictures that I get sent back, and it would be really hard for me because it's so important that I maintain a credibility with the way I look, because it's about the art I do. It's not just about the way I look to myself, because I hang out the house without any effort and I'm very confident. What I'm talking about is a representation of my art, and I wanted to represent myself in the best way possible. So we did fix symmetry issues, but one that I thought was very kind of the most prominent issue I had left was actually the asymmetry in my lip. Now I don't know if you can tell from the way I talk, my jaw kind of goes to this angle, right? That is because when I was a lot younger, before my face had finished developing, I actually had my jaw moved forwards. So when I actually had my teeth and my braces on for 3.5 years, I actually had my jaw softened, the muscles in my jaw softened, and through a process of gradually moving my jaw forwards, we pulled it into shape. Now that has completely distorted my lip shape, and I always cut off the corner of my lip with makeup to make my lip look straight, because my top lip is fine, but then my bottom lip is kind of sinking to one side. So I wanted to go and I wanted to see if there was anything we can do to actually lift the corner of my lip. So when I initially went, we injected up like that, so it kind of had a lift, which does work, but it's not as three-dimensional looking, I guess you would say. So Naruschka kind of came up with this theory that if we kind of flip up the middle of my lip, just by inserting kind of like a cross in the cupid's bow here, and then injecting into the outside of this lip, it would overall change the shape of my lip and make it look more there. So what she actually did was she injected just around the outline there and just lifted this side. And it's, oh my god, I don't even wear lip gloss. I don't wear lip liner in my videos anymore. This is my actual lip. So the results are absolutely unbelievable. Now, these are actually non-permanent fillers, but I think when you get them done again and again and again, you actually start building collagen around where they were injected, so it gives the same volume over time. So essentially they are semi-permanent, I would describe them as, if you get them in the long term. So here is the interview with Naruschka and the treatment, so if you're scared of needles, please look away, but I hope you enjoy. Hi everyone, it's me Jo, I'm here with Naruschka and we're back at Botonics. We're filming in a slightly different location today. But I wanted to do some more follow-up treatments since the last videos we did were so popular, and Today, we're going to go down the route, and I know you guys are crazy about lips because you all think I've had lip injections in the past, which I haven't, which Naruschka can confirm. Today, we're going to focus on lips. So today, we're going to be doing, I guess, like a very minor thing, where it's, my concern was always the symmetry, and when we did my face the first time, we lifted the corner up on this side where I thought my face was a little bit droopy.
Yes.
And we also focused on the cheek to make the cheek a little bit more symmetric. But today I was thinking, would it be a possibility to shorten the gap between the nose and the mouth by lifting the lip? Yes. Because I think that's slightly effeminizing, which I think a lot of people would be interested in.
Yes.
So what would be different about doing a more of a natural lip lift as opposed to inflating the size?
Okay, so these are going to create very different looks. With lips, you know, the myth is that it's all about just pumping loads of volume in, and somehow it will sort of turn into the shape you like.
And we've seen that in celebrities going wrong all the time.
Absolutely, this is a very, very common problem. But in actual fact, when you're treating lips, you have to be very strategic about where you place that filler. So it's not necessarily how much, but really where. And you might find actually very little bits produce very, you know, very nice changes in the shape that is actually far more flattering, and more interesting and much more exciting than just lots of volume.
Sure, which can always look very, like that guy that wanted to be Kim Kardashian has very large pork chop-like lips. But he's very nice, I'm sure.
I'm sure he's a lovely guy, yeah.
But no. So what is the appropriate filler for the lip area?
Okay, so we need to use something that's very soft.
Yeah.
We need it to be strong so that it lasts, because this is an area that's constantly moving.
Yeah.
So we are competing with a lot of dynamic movement, and also it's surrounded by lots of very strong muscles that help you to make all these beautiful movements that make us so attractive and sexy.
Okay.
So this is not unusual in terms of how I work. I do love Juvederm products in the lower face because they are very elastic, very strong, and yet they are also very soft.
Good.
Too.
Okay, because they don't look like a fish. Okay. Awesome. And the lips, because they're very vascular, does it tend to hurt a little bit more when you get the lips on compared to other areas, or is it pretty much the same?
They are more sensitive. The sensitivity in the lips is very high, because actually, like your fingertips and your toes and the tip of your nose, this is an area that's designed to be extremely sensitive. So it's full of lots and lots of nerve endings to translate lots of feelings and especially pain, unfortunately.
Okay.
But in terms of the vascularity, this also means that this is an area that can, it can bleed easily. Okay. Actually, but it can also heal very quickly too. Sure. So care needs to be taken to make sure that we inject very safely.
So in regards to the lips, I understand like the initial result is going to be a little bit more swollen than the final result. Does that take a couple of days to like just settle down?
It does. It only takes a couple of days. But the thing with lips is they swell very, very quickly. Okay, but it is important to make sure that we do it all fairly quickly, so that we do treat the whole lip before it starts to swell.
Perfect. Okay, I'm ready for that. Awesome. So let's go in with the procedure. So we're going to go in with the treatment now. We've just marked out my lips with a white pencil so we can see where we started. So when it swells, or if it does swell, we can see where it's going, right?
Absolutely.
And what is the technique we're now doing?
So this is an injective technique, and we're using a needle.
Okay.
So the sensitive part will come through a bit more in the centre of the lip. Okay.
Right.
I know. Unfortunately for you, that's exactly where you want me to sort of put my emphasis.
So we've just completed the lip in completion.
Yes.
So what we did today is we kind of worked with the symmetry problem again, and we built up the contour.
Absolutely. Yes. So we've built the curve in the lips to reflect the other side, and therefore increase the peak as well on this side too, and a little bit of emphasis on the Cupid's bow area to give it a little bit more height and more sensuality, and also where you have these little inversions in your lip, which are actually lovely features, you're a little bit deeper on this side.
Yeah.
So I've just given you a bit of volume there to marry the two sides up.
Thank you. I'm so excited and I'll show you guys the final result at home. Alright guys, well that is my Botonic lip lift. This took, I guess this one was more bruised than anything else that I had done on my face that day. But it was really, really simple. It feels soft. It feels like nothing. It's obviously my lips are completely real. All that's happened is the lip has been lifted there through the Cupid's bow and the wonky bit has been lifted up. So it was very simple, pretty painless actually. I think these injections are far less painful than plucking eyebrows, if I'm going to be really honest. So if you were interested in actually getting a proper lip inflation, or you wanted to look into getting a lip plumping that looks natural, they actually do a variety of different techniques. If you were interested in getting that procedure done, I recommend you right into Botonics. They are very, very informative. I'll put some examples on the screen right now of other people that have had more dramatic lip lifts and lip, I guess you would say a lip augmentation. But I just thought it was a fun one to show you guys because you are always obsessively asking about my lips, and I thought, well, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do every time I get something done. It's not going to be any dishonesty on this channel, and yeah. Alright guys, well I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm just going to go off to film a podcast, my BFF. We're going to be talking about crazy YouTubers and boys and stuff. So if you've never seen my podcast, it's on SoundCloud and the link's below, check it out. But definitely contact Naruschka and Bill at Botonics, who are incredible. Thank you so much for allowing me to film you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me to film at Botonics. It was awesome to get this process done. I can't believe the results. It's made me so much more confident. And if it does that, why not? Alright guys, well I'll see you all in my next video.